I'd like to give all glory and praise and honor unto the Most High, and we're going to get into it today, man. Now, this lesson we're going to be talking about, the fallen angels, and, we're going to be, we know that they fell, they disobeyed the Most High and they fell. But, we're going to be looking at what really caused them to fall, man, because we know that, they lusted after women. They wanted to reproduce with them, but there was other things that was going on. So we're gonna get into it today, man. Let's start with Genesis. Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 through 4. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. See that? They were fair. They were beautiful. You need to remember that. Remember that. They were beautiful. And they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. And there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, and became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. So you see that? So right here, man, they were fair, beautiful. They liked them. So let's keep going. So let's jump to Enoch chapter 19. The book of Enoch 19. And we're going to start right here. Then Uriel said, hear the angels who cohabited with women appointed their leaders, and being numerous in appearance made men profane and caused them to err, so that they sacrificed to devils as to God. Let's stop right there. We're going to stop right there for a second. So it's saying right here, and being numerous in appearance made men profane and caused them to err, so that they sacrificed to devils as to God. So the angels, they could take the form of different things. They could take the form of animals. They could take the form of puddles. When you read the book of Joshua, you see that, look, they can manifest into different things. So right here, it's saying right here, and being numerous in appearance made men profane and caused them to err, that they sacrificed to devils as to gods. So hold up, we're going to jump to Ezekiel real quick. So Ezekiel chapter 1, 4 through 7. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, and out of the midst of fire. And also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. And everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. You see, a calf's foot, 4 living creatures in the likeness of a man, had 4 faces, wings. Let's keep going. And they sparkle like the color of burnished brass. Let's keep going real quick. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 8 through 11. Under their wings on their 4 sides, they had human hands. See that? Human hands. They had human hands. All 4 of them had faces and wings. And the wings of one touched the wings of another. Each one went straight ahead. They did not turn as they moved. Their faces looked like this. Each of the 4 had the face of a human. The face of a human. The face of a human being. And on the right side, each had the face of a lion, and on the left, the face of an ox, and each also had the face of an eagle. So he's seeing this angel, man, and it has human hands, human face, the face of a lion, the face of an ox, the face of an eagle. So you see, it looks something like this. It's a crazy looking creature. So this is what Ezekiel was seeing, and you see in Enoch. I was reading to you, they said, look, they were numerous in appearance. So like I'm saying, look, man, these angels could take the form of different things, man. They could take the form of different creatures. I don't know what, this represents. Like, hey, man, look, it probably could mean like, look, man, I could take the form of any beast. I could take the form of any cattle or any bird in the sky. You know what I mean? And I could also, take the form of a human. So he's saying, look, they were numerous in appearance, man. So, that got me to thinking about also this the Baphomet. So you see the Baphomet, it's kind of like, even though it doesn't have like four heads, you see that it's mixed with, an animal, it has human features, and a cast foot, just like the description, man. So just keep that in mind. They could take different forms, man. Let's keep going. So when it says, made men profane, being numerous in number made men profane and caused them to err, so that they sacrifice as to devil as to God. Look, man, look, they probably was changing their forms into like what? This cattle, or this, or this beast, or whatever, and causing the people to fall, You see, it made men err, caused them to err. That means they went off, they went astray, and they sacrifice, to devils as to gods, man. So let's keep going. For in that great day there shall be a judgment with which they shall be judged until they are consumed. And their wives also shall be judged, who led astray the angels of heaven, that they might salute them. And I, Enoch, alone saw the likeness of the end of all things. Nor did any human being see it as I saw it. So you see the bottom part right here is saying, their wives also shall be judged, who led astray the angels of heaven, that they might salute them, man. So it's saying, look, man, these women led astray the angels of heaven, man. They led astray the angels of heaven. So right now, we're going to jump into this book. So this is where I'm going to be reading from. Ancient Testaments of the Patriarchs, autobiographies from the Dead Sea Scrolls. So this has, basically, Judah, Simeon, Levi, Benjamin, etc., etc. They all have testimonies of, things that they went through and what to do and what not to do, So, these are legit, man. So we're gonna be looking at these real quick. So right here, this is Reuben's. This is Reuben's, testimony. It said right here, my children, ungodly women hurt you, not by strength, but by subtle enticement. They hide who they really are and make you see what you want to see, man. They cannot overcome you by strength, so they overcome you by craft. You see that? He said these women is not going to hurt you. Ungodly woman is not going to hurt you by strength, because we know the woman is the weaker vessel. They can't overpower man. But their power, is by seduction, by craft, subtle enticement. That's what he's saying, And the angel of God told me that fornication overcomes ungodly women more than men. They devise schemes to seduce men. They deceive a man's mind through their adornment, makeup, instill poison by the glance of their eye, and capture him by their actions. Therefore, flee fornication, my children. Command your wives and daughters not to adorn their heads and faces, because every woman who acts deceitfully in these things is destined for everlasting punishment, man. So we're going to pause right there for a second. You see that? So, they devise schemes. They put on adornment. They put on makeup, So and that makeup, look, it could change your whole entire face, man. You've seen tutorials on Instagram and things like that when you have this ugly chick, and she'll put the makeup on and she'll go from like a 3, to like a 9, all makeup, man. That's deception, man. So he's saying, look, man. And then, matter of fact, it was in the news. I think it was a Chinese guy that sued his wife. You know, because he said, look, man, you know, I guess when he met her, she had on a lot of makeup, you know, and when he had kids with this woman, and he said, look, man, and I think he won too. He sued her because his kids came out ugly, you know, because that's not how she really looked, you know. So she was, you know, that's deception. That's high level deception right there, man. You know. So right here, he said every woman who acts deceitfully in these things is destined for punishment. So we gotta pause right there, you know, because you know, you gotta remember Judith though. Judith was a righteous woman, and when Israel was under attack, look, she put on her makeup, you know, to act. She was being deceitful, but she was, you know, it was for the truth, you know. She was defending her nation, you know, but you know, against the enemy. But you know, you got women that do this, and it's, you know, it's all about, you know, deception, you know, deceiving men with their looks and things like that, you know. So let's take a look at Judith real quick, you know, because she was a righteous woman that put on makeup and stuff like that. So this is Judith chapter 10, and this is like, you know, when the chief captain Holofernes, you know, they was getting ready to come in, you know, and the Israelites was losing their mind, and Judith like, yo, calm down, I got this. She pretty much said like, I got this. So let's read right here. I'm just gonna read till verse 4, 1 till 4. Now after that she had ceased to cry unto the God of Israel, and had made an end of all these words. She arose where she had fallen down, and called her maid, and went down into the house in which she abode in the Sabbath days and in her feast days, and pulled off the sackcloth which she had on, and put off the garments of her widowhood, you know, because she was a widow. Her husband died, you know, so she wasn't, like, you see, she wasn't really wearing those stuff anymore. And washed her body all over with water, and anointed herself with precious ointment, and braided the hair of her head, and put on a tire on it, and put on her garments of gladness, wherewith she was clad during the life of Manasseh, her husband. So this is the things that she was wearing when she was with her husband, you know, her ointment, you know what I mean, her garments and stuff like that. Verse 4, and she took sandals upon her feet, and put about her bracelets, and her chains, and her rings, and her earrings, and all her ornaments, and decked herself bravely to allure the eyes of all men that should see her, man. So she put all this stuff on to allure the eyes of men that see her, so they could see her. So she knew what she was doing. You see that? So this is what the scripture is saying. Look, man, their power is not in strength. It's in their craftiness, in their looks, you know? So I'm going to summarize. Long story short, look, she went down there, you know, and the chief captain, Holofernes, saw her, and he was just all bedazzled. Oh my gosh, Judith, you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh, oh, come on in. You know, he let her in, you know, into his tent. He went to sleep, and she cut his damn head off. You feel me? She cut his head off. It was that easy. All because he was drooling all over her looks, you know? You know? It was that easy, man. So she disarmed him, you know, just by putting on her makeup, man. You know, just by putting on her makeup and making herself look pretty. You know, because like I said, their power is not in strength. You know, this is what they telling you. So another person, you know, that did this was Jezebel. You know, but you know, she was acting deceitfully. Let's take a look at that real quick. 2 Kings 9:30. So right here, Jehu's coming to look. He's coming for judgment. He's coming to pretty much kill Jezebel. So right here, and when Jehu was come to Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tied her head and looked out a window. So why do you think she was painting her face, man? She was trying to seduce Jehu, so he, you know what I mean? So when he seen her, he'd be like, oh man, she's so pretty. I don't think I want to kill her no more. You feel me? Look, because their power is not in strength, it's seduction, man. This is why she was painting her face and tying her head and putting on all her stuff, you know? But Jehu, he ain't fall for that. Look, throw her ass out the window. You know what I mean? We tired of her wickedness, man. I mean, So look, this is two examples. Look, it's showing you, like, look, they know what they doing, man. You know, and look. I mean, that's if they're attractive to her. I mean, I guarantee you. Look. If Judith wasn't attractive, I don't think whole foreigners would have fell for it. He probably would have killed her. So look, if you're not attractive, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work. But you know, Jezebel, look, she painted her face to try to seduce him, man. But he wasn't having it. You know what I mean? Let's keep going. Let's go back. So right here is, once again, it's saying, look, man, command your wives and daughters not to adorn their heads and faces, because every woman who acts deceitfully in these things is destined for everlasting punishment. So, you know, so I showed you two examples. Look, you had Judas that did it, and she was doing it, for a righteous cause. And you had Jezebel. Look, we know that she was wicked, and she was doing it to seduce Jehu, you know, so he wouldn't, you know, have his way with her, you know, kill her. So let's keep going. So he says right here, this is how they seduce the watchers. What? This is how they seduced the watchers. Before the flood, they appeared constantly in their presence this way until the watchers fell for them. They changed their form into that of men, and they came to the woman. The ungodly women planned for this to happen because they desired heavenly husbands. Then they gave birth to the Nephilim. So this is a testament of Reuben, is what it's saying right here. So remember, I was telling you, look, man, these angels could change. They could change their form, you know. And, you know, these women, it's saying right here, before the flood, they constantly appeared in their presence this way, you know, until the watchers fell for them. You know, because remember that remember I read in Genesis, it's saying, look, man, these women were feared. They were beautiful. You know? But so it seems like, look, man, they, like, back then they had a lot more interaction with the angels, you know, than we do. You know, they knew who they were. Because now, you know, the scriptures say, you know, hey, be careful, you know, you could entertain angels unaware. But it don't seem like, you know, they didn't know who these angels were, these women. Because they're saying, like, look, they constantly appeared in their presence until the watchers fell for them. You know? You see that? They changed their form into that of men and came to the woman, man. You see that? Oh, man. So you see, you know, it was the woman, you know, according to the Testament of Reuben, that was tempting them. You know? But you know, and that's, and you know, and that's no excuse, man, because these guys stood in the presence of the Most High. And this is why the Most High came down on them so hard, man. Because they should know better. It's like, I mean, the way I look at it, and I think it was like, you know, the angels having sex with women is like the equivalent of us humans having sex with animals. Like it's like forbidden. Like, yo, you ain't supposed to be doing that kind of stuff. I mean, that's how I looked at it. You know, these are heavenly creatures. You know, we're not supposed to be doing that stuff with animals. You know, and like when these angels came onto the women, that's like how I view it. Like it was really abominable. You know, so this is what it says in Enoch. Let's read this one more time. And their wives also shall be judged who led astray the angels of heaven, that they might salute them, man. Who led astray the angels of heaven. That's what it says. So let's keep going. So this is Enoch chapter 19, verse 2. It says right here, and the woman also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens. And I, Enoch, alone saw the vision, the ends of all things, and no man shall see as I have seen. I mean, so sirens, man. Let's take a look at that. So in Greek mythology, it says right here, sirens were dangerous and beautiful creatures, portrayed as femme fatales, who lured nearby sailors with their enchanting music and voices to shipwreck on the rocky coast of their island. So these femme fatales, man, we're gonna look at that just now. So right here, a siren often capitalize any of a group of female and partly human creatures in Greek mythology that lured mariners to destruction by their singing. Second definition: a woman who sings with enchanting sweetness, temptress, temptation. A woman who was very attractive but also dangerous. So pretty much, I mean, in layman's term, a honeypot. You know what I mean? A honeypot trap. That's what this sounds like. You know. So he's saying right here, they shall become as sirens. This is what I get from it. You know. So right here, femme fatale, like we brought up, you know, in the previous slides. A seductive woman who lures men into dangerous or compromising situations. A woman who attracts men by an aura of charm and mystery. So, femme fatale. Right here again, a longer definition. A femme fatale is French word, sometimes called a man-eater or vamp, is a stock character of a mysterious, beautiful woman and seductive woman whose charms ensnares her lovers, often leading them into compromising, deadly traps. It's a honey trap, man. She is an archetype of the literature and art. Her ability to enchant, entice, and hypnotize her victim with a spell was in the earliest stories seen as verging on supernatural. Hence, the femme fatale today is often described as having power akin to enchantress, seductress, witch having power over men. Femme fatales are typically villainous or at least morally ambiguous and always associated with a sense of mystification and unease. You know, so they even had a movie named that. You know, so it's pretty much a beautiful woman, an attractive woman, you know, that uses her looks and her charms, you know, to disarm men, put them in compromising situations. Like I said, pretty much a honey trap, man. So this is what Enoch is saying, you know, they're gonna become. So I don't know, you know, how, because we know a lot of people, mostly everybody was wiped out in a flood, you know, besides Noah and his, you know, and his kids, you know, and his family. But you know, we see these type of women here today, though, in this modern day time. They out here. You know, these they out here. So let's take a look at. We're gonna take a look at what back to the Testament of the Patriarchs, or what Judah was saying about, you know, these women. You know. So right here, he's saying, "For I gave my staff, the symbol of my tribe, my girdle, the symbol of my power, and my crown, which is the glory of my kingdom. Then I repented of all these things and took no wine or no flesh until my old age, nor did I behold any joy. So let me stop right there for a second. So Judah is saying right here, look, we know that he slept with Tamar. You know, he was drunk, things this and the third. We know he had a Canaanite wife. You know, the Most High, you know, killed his 2 kids, you know, that he had with the Canaanite wife because they were wicked. But he's also saying, like, look, man, he had no joy in his children, man. You know, because he was moving off his, you know, his impulses. You know, he wasn't thinking wisely. You know, he was moving off his flesh. So he's saying, look, man, he had kids, but he didn't have joy in his kids, man, because he was, you know, he married a woman that was, like, you know, outside of his stock, that probably didn't believe in the Most High, and that's a big thing, you know. And you know, he gave Tamar his, I believe he gave her his staff, you know, the things that, you know, were symbols of his power. He gave them over to her. So right here, let's keep going. An angel of God showed me that women eternally bear rule over kings and beggars alike. They take away the king's glory and the valiant man's strength, and they take from the beggars even the little that keeps him from poverty, man. You know, so he said, an angel showed me that women eternally bear rule over kings and beggars alike. You know, they take even a little that keeps him from poverty. That sounds like child support, man. You know. You know, they keep taking, you know, and this is what kind of happened with Judah back then. Like you said, he had kids with this woman, you know, and you know, in this modern day time, look, a lot of these females, they use the kids as a check, you know, And these guys are not really happy, because you got an obnoxious woman, that is, that's not of order, and she, you gotta give up the money now because of a dumb mistake that you made, and this is basically what he's saying. Like, damn, I have no joy in these kids, and he kept it. He's keep being honest, So this is why he's saying, look, man, I'm not drinking no more. I didn't drink till my old age. I'm staying sober, because the angels showed me that these women bear rule over kings, man, over kings. And this is what happened with when you look at King David, and he's seen by Bathsheba, and look, he couldn't control himself. You look at Samson, strong dude, he was broken down, by this female, Delilah. Oh, Samson, tell me your secret. Oh, you don't love me, And he told her the secret, man. When you look at Adam and Eve, do you think that Eve just told him, like, hey, let's go ahead and disobey the Most High? No, she broke him down with her charm. Adam, come on, don't you love me? That's their weapon. It's not strength. This is what they're trying to tell you. And even though through this book, man, this is like the one thing that they always talk about. Like, you look, man, guard yourself from the woman, man. They always talk about it. Even Solomon talked about that. That's what made Solomon as wise as he was too. As wise as he was, that's what made him fall too. I just showed you what Judith did with the chief captain Holofernes. She just put on her makeup, and that's what made a lot of these great men fall, or made major mistakes, man. And they always say, look, man, if you could not look after their beauty and things like that, they'll never be able to conquer you, And that's why you have people like, they had these guys, millionaires and billionaires, they're well established, and they see some chick in Hooters with some big titties, and, and she ain't done nothing with her life, and these guys are forking over, buku money, giving it to her, because she looked good, and these chicks be laughing at these guys, So they know that their strength is in their looks, man, So let's come back to this real quick. Enoch 19:2, and the woman also of the angels who went astray shall become as sirens. So what are the sirens today? These seductive women, your Cardi B's, your Megan Thee Stallions, your Rihannas, your Beyoncés, all these women, man. They use their looks, they lose their charms, to get what they want. This is what it's talking about. They all over the place now. Oh, man. So we see that, according to what is saying in these texts, it seems like I was saying before, the females, they had, a lot of interaction with the angels. It wasn't like in this modern day time, like we don't know where those angels are. We don't know them. But it seems like they knew who they were back then, and they constantly, strutting their stuff, and that's one of the reasons that's caused them to fail. But they should have known better, because these were like, stronger and bigger vessels, and this is why they were punished so harshly, And then and to top it off, they started teaching them a lot more wickedness, So it's interesting, man. This is interesting, when you start tapping into the other books a little bit and putting the pieces together, Like I said, these women have caused a lot of mighty men to fall, not by their physical brute strength, but by their charm. That's why, and then Josephus, he also writes about, You know, the Most High punished Adam because he submitted to he showed weakness, you know, and he submitted to the counsel of his wife, you know. It wasn't supposed to do that, man. And you see that, look, man, these angels could take, you know, different forms, different shapes. You know, and before I end this, let's just look at the writings of Josephus real quick. And it's going to show you, and I talked about this in my previous video somewhere, I can't remember exactly where, but it shows you that, look, man, this owl, you know, was an angel, and this king knew it. Hold up, let's bring it up. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, I'm just summarizing right here. So it was this King Agrippa, so he was wearing these costly apparel, he was looking good in his apparel, and, he was just, the sun was shining on him, and these people thought that, like, it was a god because, he was looking fly, and they started praising him like, oh, this guy's a god, this, that, and the third. And right here, I'm gonna start from right here. Right here. Upon this, the king did neither rebuke them nor reject their impious flattery, but as he presently afterward looked up, he saw an owl sitting on a certain rope over his head, and immediately he understood that this was the messenger of ill tidings, as it had once been a messenger of good tidings to him. And he fell into the deepest sorrow, and severe pain arose in his belly. And pretty much, look, the Most High afflicted him, and he died. Because he didn't rebuke that. He was, people was praising him as he was a god, and he didn't stop it. So look, this owl, if you was reading the writings of Jesus before, it came to him before, and it to give him good news. And you see, when these guys were praising him, this owl came back, and he looked up, and he seen the owl, and he knew that. Look, he knew he messed up, bro. So I said, look, and that was the angel, man. So I said, look, man, they could take the form, of different creatures, So just showing you, like, look, man, these angels took the form of men, and they went on to the women, man. So, hopefully this was edifying. Praises to the Most High, man. Let me know what you guys think.